We all love Dream's manhunts, but some of the scenes are very debatably sketchy. If you're watching this in the future, this is like sort of going over the sketchy scenes and why I think that they're fake of Dream's most recent for me, but it's his first 1v5 manhunt. It's a great video, I do recommend watching it, it's linked in the description, but I'm just going over why I think some of the scenes were staged. So I'm going to be using Dream's second channel, DreamXD, his unedited version, the whole recording of his latest manhunt. So let's get going. So here we can see Antfrost is towering up next to him, and over here we've got Satnap. But Antfrost goes up to pretty high, and then let's see what happens.
Is he there? Is he watching? Is he watching?
Yeah, he's moving between you two.
I'm out of blocks. I'm out of blocks.
Okay,
Wait, I'm just gonna reset. I'm just gonna throw myself off and reset.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, respawn.
It's fine, I respawn. Oh,
Here,
so
here.
fun.
And what Antfrost did is that he placed a crafting table and then just jumped off the tower to reset. That wasn't necessary. He could either have just, used blocks to get down, or he could have just, stayed there and, boxed himself in. That was such an unnecessary play on Antfrost's part. But then it gave Dream a tall pillar next to him with a crafting table on top. That's just unfathomably lucky on Dream's part if it isn't staged, which personally I think it is. So if we go to Dream's live stream, he did his analysis already on a live stream, so let's just look at what he says of the boat clutch.
He placed it, but you hear him click. It's like obviously he's in the crafting bench. I don't know why, but then he says, "Oh, I'm just gonna throw myself off and reset," because they had beds down there. So he's like,
So this is him talking about Antfrost jumping off the tower and resetting.
what happened is that he ran out of blocks and he was like, "Okay, can I craft something? Like, can I craft a boat or can I craft something to just jump down and live?" So he placed a crafting bench, or maybe it was just his last block, so he placed it. But you hear him click. It's like obviously he's in the crafting bench. I don't know why.
So Antfrost places a crafting table, and Dream can tell that he's in a crafting table by hearing a singular click. He can't tell who that click was from, and whether it was Antfrost placing something, Antfrost breaking a block. Even if he did know it was Antfrost, he can't tell that it was him placing a crafting table and crafting. What?
So this is to me this is actually a bad play. But I mean not the boat clutch. Obviously the boat clutch is insane. But what I do here is stupid. So I'm like, okay, I just need to collect the furnaces in order to keep my iron and stuff. But I didn't realize how slow breaking a furnace is.
So Dream doesn't know how fast breaking a furnace is, but he can tell what his friend is doing by the sound of a click. Like, what friend's doing what by the sound of a click. But he can't tell. He doesn't know how long it takes to break a furnace. He can craft a boat in point whatever of a second, but he doesn't know how long it takes to break a furnace. That is... yeah.
With the stone pickaxe. For some reason, I was thinking it's like breaking stone. I'm pretty sure it's much longer than breaking stone, because it took so long to break 2 furnaces when I was expecting it'd take half a second. But anyway, as soon as I break the crafting bench, so I'm here and I broke the crafting bench right now, and then I realized as soon as I break it, I was like, oh god, I didn't make a boat yet. Right? I'm like, okay, I didn't make a boat. So I'm thinking in my head right now.
So what he could have just done was place back the crafting table, make a boat, and then just loot the furnaces. It would have saved everything, but no, he had to pull off a boat clutch.
I'm like, okay, if I place right now, I'm not gonna have time to craft a boat, then break my furnaces, and then jump off. So I was thinking, okay, well, I need to break my furnaces and then place a crafting table and craft the boat. So there's a couple.
That's an unrealistic expectation. Sapnap's right there, level with him, and Sapnap is still building. He thinks he's going to be able to break his furnaces and then place a crafting table, craft a boat, break that crafting table, and then be ready for Sapnap. But Sapnap has got so much time to just build up a couple of blocks and then come over. That's unrealistic.
Things I do. One, you see in my hotbar, I have leather boots in my 5 slot. So at some point I put them on.
And now he's saying all about how he put them on so he could craft a boat on this insane clutch. But he made armor, why wouldn't he put it on? Even if this isn't staged, he's taking credit for a lot of things that are just very simple, and he's making them seem really complicated.
Right-clicking on them because I realized I need an empty slot, but I realized I need to do it after I break the furnaces, because if I break the furnaces, they'll go into my hotbar. So this is all before. This is before.
How fast is this man's head going? Because if this is actually what happened, his thoughts are just going like rapid fire. It's like a machine gun of thoughts. It just goes.
Or this is before the craft. But secondly, I'm realizing I'm probably gonna have like next to no time. And the thing is about manhunts is like if I die right off the beginning, the hunters get money, so they have an incentive to go after me and kill me. But obviously we're not gonna upload a 3-minute video or something on the channel, so we just go again. So I'm realizing, okay, like reaction time is a big problem. So I knew where my wood was, like because whenever you open your inventory, your cursor spawns like defaultly in the middle of your inventory. I realized, okay, I'm not gonna have like any time in order to do it.
So he knows so much about how this is gonna happen, like where the cursor spawns, where his wood is, make sure he's got a spare slot, but he doesn't know how long it takes to break a furnace.
You just don't have reaction time. Like, it's just impossible.
Human reaction time is 0.2 seconds. I'll search up human reaction time. 0.25 seconds for an audio stimulus. 0.15 seconds for a touch stimulus. So I'm going to say about 0.2 in between because it was a visual stimulus. So, this just... He said he was planning to craft a boat, but that doesn't actually matter because he was planning to craft it there. So he would still have to react and find a crafting table and then craft it. He may have been ready to craft it, but he wasn't ready to find the crafting table, to click on the crafting table that he'd just found. That was just unrealistic. And the only reason he knew that there was a crafting table on Antfrost's tower was because of a click that he heard that he knew was Antfrost placing a crafting table. What the hell?
And then the quick boat craft, and then the clutch. Luckily I do have a lot of practice with actual boat clutches, and there's been many manhunts where I hit.
Well, let's just see this again.
I wasn't sitting there in midair going, I'm gonna craft a boat, I'm gonna fling my cursor out, my wood's here. A lot of luck comes into play. Like literally just the only thing that I think that.
So let's just go back to the boat clutch here. The one that's just the actual boat clutch. Let's play this at 0.5 speed. So that was a split second.
My dream!
Wait, what?
What?
So obviously he screams very loudly. If you analyze how fast he's falling, he hasn't sped it up, or if he has, it's minimal.
Dream!
Wait, what?
What?
So, if this was... I'm not saying it's sped up. If this was sped up, you would see him falling at a different pace. The only way you could have done this was with an invisible slow falling, but that's like... That's probably not what he did, because he'd have to have someone give him slow falling directly, and then make it invisible without particles, not show up on his screen. It would be very difficult to do.
My dream!
Wait, what?
What?
So, he did actually craft it. But like, look at how fast this crafting is. With it at half speed.
My dream!
Wait, what?
That's already good crafting, like a great crafting speed at half speed. So let's just hop onto a world and show you. So, when you use a crafting table, just grab crafting table, planks. We'll just grab 16, I think that's how many he had. The slot. I'll just change to survival mode. So let's have a look at this. One more time.
My dream!
Let's have a listen to his keyboard sounds.
Wait, what?
We can't hear anything. But then, right before we could.
My
Like, you can hear his keyboard, you can hear his clicking, but then when you get to here, you can't hear it.
Dream!
Wait, what?
One more time.
My dream!
Wait, what?
And this is at half speed, and he already does it insanely fast. So I'll just grab a few more planks. Oak planks. 48. So, when I craft this, if I hold shift the entire time, like he said he was, it just gets shift clicked into here. So he can't have been holding shift the entire time. He said I was just holding shift for the entire time. Also, when you do this, it does hold your shift, but then he can't pick it up. Like, if you shift right click, it does the exact same thing as shift left click. So he must have done this and then held shift and then done this. But then he must have held it down and then gone to like there. Because if you hold it down, you have to let go of the click before it actually shows up. So to sum it up, just look at what this, like, he would have had to, because when you go into a crafting table, your cursor spawns right there. Like, it doesn't save it. It spawns right there. He would have had to go across, pick that up, then hold shift, then fling his mouse across the screen, and then unclick, and then click. Like, he can't have held shift for the entire time, because if I'm shifting here, go into this, I'm still holding shift. So if he was going like this, he would have had to unshift, and then grab it, and then shift again, and then click. It was just, no. The boat clutch on its own is possible, but his explanation for doing it the first time was that it was him just holding shift for the whole time, but that can't have been the case. So then he gets this insane Bastion Lock, and when he says, I didn't even know you could get this in a Bastion, again, surely he has that Minecraft knowledge. Like, if I just go to Bastion loot tables, so we just go here, chest loot, we can go across to Bastion treasure, surely he would know what you get. It's simple. Like, I play Minecraft, but not nearly as much as Dream. I'm not as popular as him, I don't know as much about the game as him, I'm not as good as him. But I still know what can be in these chests. I know you can get armor, tools. I know that there are two types of Bastion chests you can get. One has quartz, one doesn't. One has gilded blackstone, one doesn't. One has magma cream, one doesn't. Like, and you get one of those chests each at the bottom of a treasure bastion. I don't even speedrun, but I know about treasure bastion loot tables. It's really not that difficult. Like here, you can get diamond armor, and then you can get damaged, enchanted stuff. Like, if it's enchanted, it has to be damaged. And so he knows people will question his chest loot, so he gives them the seed and says, check the seed. It is real. So to prove my point, I thought I would figure out where Dream was in the Nether, and then follow him through his entire Nether sort of experience, and I would go through and look for things. So I went from when he entered the Nether all the way to his Bastion chests, and I'll quickly show you the sort of highlights of that 1 hour expedition. Let's just double check. Yep, this is the right seed. This is where you spawned, and then you've got a spawn radius of 16 blocks. That's the average spawn, which means from the actual world spawn, you've got a 16 block radius where you can spawn in. But then let's have a look at this. Where's this? Where's the village? So I'd have to assume it's somewhere in this forest here, which isn't within 16 blocks of world spawn. So they must have ran over here just for, like, effect? I don't know. Or maybe they're making the village more OP, because they would have had to run far away just to get to there. Like a good 100 blocks. And it's probably just to make it more intense. Like, is that staging? I'm not sure whether that counts. But, like, yeah, it's very sketchy, and they do, like, this thing, this is a deliberate way to make it more intense. They would have run and then seen the village, and they would be like, ah, when actually they'd run past the village to get to the spawn location. It doesn't make sense. Also, George leaves the manhunt, like he's not on the call, he doesn't talk for ages, and then the manhunt plugin glitches, like the nether version of the manhunt plugin, because they use two different plugins, one for the nether, one for the overworld, and it's just... George isn't there. So it's a 1v4. Because when the plugin breaks, the admin who's, like, sort of overseeing the server side of things almost, he's one of the top admins of Bad Boy Halo's server, and Bad Boy Halo is the one who hosts these, like, his servers. The admin says, I'm trying to message George, and Dream doesn't say, hey George, da da da. He says, is George replying? Like, George just had to leave and go. They should have said that, like, maybe, like, this and that happened to George or whatnot. But no, they don't say anything, so it's a 1v4 for a decent portion of the nether. Also, guys, as I'm just following around Dream, I just found something very interesting. So here on the seed, this is what it looks like. You've got 2 blocks, a gap, and then another block of blackstone. But then, if we look at Dream, we can see, I'll just play it back so we can get a good view. I'm playing at double speed so I can go around flying, but I'll slow it down to a 0.75. That should be good. It's one, that block's missing. So you see, that's a really small thing. Like, it does not matter at all, but if you think about it, it shows that someone's been there. Somebody has previously been there. It wasn't, as far as I know, it wasn't Dream, because I haven't been to this little area before. And I was following him around. Because there's nothing up here that he could have come from. There's no across or anything, it's just a small little alcove. And it's missing a block, which shows that someone's been there before. Which is, very telling. Here I am in the Bastion. 1 chest. It's correct. 2nd chest. Also correct. So yeah, that was Dream's main thing. He said, you can check the seed. That is what's in the chest. But do you know what he hasn't? What we have absolutely no evidence of him doing? We can't tell if he picked the seed. He got a village spawn. That doesn't, like... That's kind of rare on its own. But, like... Yeah, it's just... There are so many sketchy factors. If his way of getting insane luck is that it's in the seed. But he may have picked the seed. The seed may not be random. We have absolutely no way of figuring out if it's random or not. It's really... There are so many ways that he could have cheated that we just can't prove either way. Like, he can't prove that he didn't cheat, and I can't prove that he did cheat. And that brings me to my final point. Dream has said in the past that he has a list of things he has, like, cool things to do that can get him out of different situations. So, originally when he started, he had his ladder clutch, which was when he just jumped over, when he got hit off a tower and placed a ladder on the side of a block. That's really common in places like Bed Wars on Hypixel. It's a really common thing to happen, but everyone was like, which is kind of the case with a lot of his clutches. But yeah, he that was on his list, and he saw an opportunity to use it, and he did, and that's smart. But I don't believe that the hunters haven't seen some of these tricks before. Like, when he did that ladder clutch, you're telling me that out of all of his manhunt tries, he's never had a situation where he's had to ladder clutch before. Like, that's unrealistic. A lot of his manhunt is unrealistic. But you see, that's just the thing. It's not plausible. Because his list can't be that long that he hasn't used any of these specific things. Like, apparently he's never ladder clutched. They're like, oh my gosh, how? Every single time he does one of these clutches. So, if he uses one in a recording that doesn't get used for a video, does he just can it and say, I'm never using it again? Or does he just tell the hunters to act surprised because he hasn't used it in a video before? They may not be staged videos, but they could be staged reactions or staged seeds. There's almost no way that these manhunts do not have some element of stagedness. Because if I die and go back, this is where we spawn. we already know that he staged his spawn. It was over there. They picked a different place to spawn so that the village would create more content. He could get hit down the ravine. That was all planned. Because they even changed their spawn point to work for that plan. And I don't have anything against Dream. I really, really enjoy his manhunts. I think they're some of the best Minecraft videos on YouTube. But I don't think that they're as real and raw as they're made out to be. And I don't blame Dream for doing any of this, as in, like, chances are they are staged. But I don't blame him. He's just trying to make entertaining content. It's his job. Just to make entertaining content for all of us. And I completely respect that. I have absolutely no hard feelings towards Dream, but I would appreciate if he would tell us this himself, like whether he's cheating or not, or anything along those lines. But thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to leave your opinions in the comments, debunk me, whatever, but these are my views and my evidence for my views. So, until the next one, see ya!